Hey, what's up, good people? It's Jay Ray, the co host of Q Points, and I wanted to come to you because there are two really important ways that you can support our show. One is by subscribing to it wherever you listen to or watch your podcasts. Q Points is pretty much everywhere. The other thing that you can do is you can visit us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on Podchaser, and you can leave us a star rating. Please rate us 5 stars because you know you love Q Points. And on Apple Podcasts and on Podchaser, you can actually leave us a written review. It's not required, but it really does help to spread the word about the show, and it helps people to discover it as they're looking for new podcasts to listen to. We're always appreciative of you supporting Q Points. We thank you so much for all that you've done for us so far, and enjoy the show.
Hello there, and welcome back to a new episode of Q Points. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is Johnny Ray Cornegay III. Oh, that's weird. I'm Jay Ray, but I'm also known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay III. What's happening, y'all?
Hey, you are the great I am. You are whatever you say you are.
That's
How about
right.
that, Jay Ray? Amen. Amen. Welcome to another episode of Q Points. Jay Ray, how have you been?
Listen, I have been good. One of the things that I love about what we do is we get the opportunity to dive into topics and stuff like that we really, really love. And tonight we have somebody super special. So I'm really excited about this conversation. So I'm good. How are you, man?
I am excellent. It's been an okay week. It's been a good week. Let me say that. It's been a good week for me, and I too am excited about a lot of different things that are going on with us as a group and individually. And I too am excited about this evening's show. I was excited today at work because during our team meetings, we have to throw out an icebreaker question or a warm-up question, and I immediately hopped in and said, hey, what's everybody's favorite Prince song? And we all went down the line and ran it down because it's been 6 years already.
Oh my God, it is April 21st.
It's been 6 years already since he left, and we still adore, no pun intended, we still adore that man.
Right.
And it was just nice hearing people run down the statistics and what they liked and their memories. It's still a good time thinking and talking about the purple one, the dove one.
I think we talked about this before on one of our shows, but what is one of your favorite Prince songs, or the one that is coming up for you tonight? Like, what is one?
It's always 17 Days.
Okay, so we have the same one. So yeah, 17 Days. Okay. Yeah, 17 Days is my favorite Prince song. And I know our guest probably has an opinion on what their favorite Prince song is, so we'll ask that too when we bring them in. But yeah, 17 Days, for those of you that don't know, it was the B-side to When Doves Cry. And it is one of the great unreleased Prince songs.
And for you sample heads, it is the main groove and sample that you hear in MC Lyte's Paper Thin. Yep. That beginning guitar, it was a slowed down loop of 17 Days. So, of course, that song that gives it double special meaning to us as well. And Prince being the superstar performer, singer, writer that he was, I'm sure influenced our guest. And we've got a lot to talk about. Before we go further, I want to, of course, give a shout out to, well, not a shout out, but shout out and some love to the family of DJ K Slay. Absolutely. As I promise you guys, I thought he pulled it out the woods. I thought he was free and clear with the whole COVID thing. But unfortunately, he succumbed to it earlier this week. And, K Slay is definitely when you have discussions about DJs and the things that DJs do and that they prove to the music industry and to the world. Paisley is definitely that dude. And I have to admit, I didn't know he was a pioneer of graffiti and was like a master tagger back in the day. So that was very enlightening. And it was like, dude, the brother had like a full hip hop persona.
Yep.
You know, he was the embodiment of hip hop, and I'm very thankful for all his contributions to the culture at large.
Absolutely. No, I absolutely agree. And hope that folks, one, revisit his career. Because, and we do see actually some of the newer artists doing this. Like I think of Tyler, the Creator, that have kind of these multifaceted hip hop careers that incorporate all these different elements. But yeah, when you start talking about graffiti, and that is foundational to hip hop. And so hopefully it inspires folks to be like, oh, maybe I could try a little bit of that. Maybe I could try a little breakdancing. Maybe I could try a little DJing and not just MCing. Because hip hop is all of that, you know, and he lived it and breathed it.
The elements.
The elements
of hip hop. Yes, indeed. All right, so J Ray, let's get to it. I think, because we know this man on a different level than everyone else, I find it so endearing and refreshing whenever I happen to be in his presence, and someone who is an uber fan or an admirer of the work that this man has given to us. I love to see their reactions when they figure out who he is. I think that is the dopest thing. I am such a voyeur when it comes to that. I just be like looking like, you know who that is?
Right. You know who that is, right?
Tell them who you are. Tell them what you did.
Right. You be like, tell them.
And then it's like lighting a firecracker and standing back and watching it go bang. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then just watching people gush and, you know, really express how much they enjoy what he has given to us. But I mean, do we need to run it down the line, or do we want to let him do it? What should we do?
You know, I think we should give him just a preview. Just a preview, okay. Right? So, and I also need to add something to this. Full disclosure, I work for this man every day and have been for many years. And I'm just so honored that I get to do that for that reason. So I had that experience, so when I first met him at a Starbucks, we had a meeting, and then I realized who he was. And actually this song, I remember singing. I was like, oh, wait, you was in Tease? Firestarter was my jam. You know what I mean? So I did a version of that as well. But, okay, so let's just do it. Sir Daniel got the right stuff behind him.
Or whatever he be saying in the building.
Whatever he be saying. This gentleman wrote that. We have... Which one is that? Is that Baby, or is that I Want to Be Dead?
Baby. Okay. That's Baby, but the B side is the Human Nature, not Human Nature, but the remix,
the Human Rhythm remix of I Want to Be Down.
Rhythm, that's it. Yes, yep. That's what I meant.
But Baby and I Want to Be Down. This guest wrote that.
Comfort Zone.
Never Too Busy. The list goes on. And without further ado, we get to bring in our brother, our friend, truly a legend, Kipper Jones, y'all. Kipper Jones is right there.
Yes, there he is.
That crowd noise.
How does it I don't think I've ever asked you this question, but how does it feel when people kind of read back your resume to you?
Like you're talking about somebody else. Mm-hmm. They totally, like, for real? Like, it's interesting. We were talking about Prince earlier, and that's my go-to. But I remember someone asked him one time what was his favorite song that he had written, and he said, "The one I haven't written yet." And so I get that because, yeah, I mean, all those, come on, man, those songs are classic songs. I love them too. You know, even had I had nothing to do with them, I would still like them. I'm like, they're really good. But I mean, there's so much more to do, and there's always like the next thing, you know. I did a record for the Black Betties this past fall. So You Belong to Me, which, I mean, you know, it's an independent release, so it don't have all that major record label thunder behind it and all that kind of stuff. But for me, it was one of my better songs that I feel like that I've ever, you know, written. And so that said, I mean, I kind of feel like Prince. I don't know if we've gotten there yet. You know what I mean? But in the meantime, man, it is a total out of body experience. I don't know how to explain that. And what's even more out of body than that is when you walk into a bank, a hamburger stand, or something, and your record's playing. I mean, it freaks me out. It freaks me. I'm such a fan. I mean, I'm still a fan, you know, and I will pull out my phone in a minute and be recording like, look, they're playing my record right now. I mean, I've walked up to people. I think I was at the bank or somewhere. I walked up to this lady and go, you know what, you don't know me, and I know this is random and all get out, but I wrote this song.
Was she like, oh, that's nice?
Okay. No, I know where it was. It was at Rosie's. I go to breakfast over here. Shout out to Rosie's on Sylvan Road. But I was over there and I was like, yo, I wrote this song. You did not. I was like, no, I really did. So she pulls it up, you know, on Google. You did. I was like, Mama love bread. We go.
And J-Ray will tell you, I get such a kick. Like, you know, I'm always crate digging. And I will text J-Ray in a heartbeat. I will say, look what I found. If I see your name in the liner notes, or if there's one I actually found, one of your records actually had your picture on it, and I was like, snap, and I immediately sent it to J-Ray, like, look what I found. It's kind of surreal.
Ordinary Story.
The Ordinary Story album.
It's such a surreal moment. It makes me wonder, for you as a musician, have you had that experience where they tell you never meet the people, your idols? Have you ever had that experience?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's always, unfortunately, it's always true, huh?
No, not always. Not always.
Okay.
It's only been true. The adverse reaction has only been true like maybe a couple of times. By and large, it's been awesome for me. I mean, I had a chance to meet Prince. He was dope. I had a chance to meet Luther. I mean, these are my heroes, right? I mean, I had a chance to meet Luther, and he was incredible, and we had an incredible time together. Yeah, there's only a couple of times that I can say, you know, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna blast nobody out, but I mean, you know,
we're not gonna name names,
right?
Yeah, no. But there's been a couple of times when you just go, yeah, they were better on paper. It was like, should have just left it there, you know.
Yeah. But you know, you mentioned the fact that, you know, doing the Black Betty's record and taking you know what, I was going to call it the non-traditional route, but it's become more of the staple now. People going the independent route. And surveying the landscape of music now, especially Black music, and just, you know, when you're taking that approach, you're like, what do you think? Oh man, this is what's happening now, and this is the rage, and this is popular. but it takes a certain bravery and a certain, you know, chutzpah to be like, you know what, this is what I know to do, and this sounds and feels good. I'm going to go here. Talk to us about standing back and looking and say, okay, I'm about to foray back into this. What was that moment like for you?
I think it's when you what is the quote about having the courage of your convictions?
Hmm?
When you know what it is that you're doing, and you believe in what you've done. You believe in this product, whatever it may be, or as my music business professor at Berkeley, John Kellogg, calls it, your powerful product. When you believe that that's what you have, then regardless of what station the business is in, I mean, I happen to embrace this era of independence. I know that a lot of my contemporaries don't quite see it that way. Um, I think we tend to be creatures of habit, and a lot of us got used to the way things work. The way, you know, pre-Napster, as I call it.
Yes.
Oh,
That,
what a
you know,
moment.
that's a whole another conversation,
Right.
but
What a moment in time. But
Yes.
yeah,
yes.
but I think that was the shift. You know what I mean? That was the whole difference between where we were and where we are now. I think you can actually pinpoint that moment in time. But I think that, like I said, we become creatures of habit, and so it's hard. Change is always uncomfortable, right? Um, one way or another, it's gonna feel weird or whatever, and you can either settle into what was and it isn't anymore. So I don't really understand that school of thought, but some people seem to want to just stay in the what was,
Mm.
um, and not embrace the what is, or even think about the what could be, because this industry, much like everything else on the planet right now, is changing mercurially. I mean, the rate is incredible of technological advances and those kinds of things. So if you don't embrace technology, you may as well just check out,
Right.
Hang
right?
it up. Yeah.
Just actually check out, because that's good. Technology is inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
Inevitable. You're not going to stop it. And I think that's what happened to the music business, if you ask me, is when Napster came, instead of taking the meeting and saying, okay, well, how can we ingratiate
Right.
this? How can we work together?
Mm-hmm.
They were, I'm the behemoth and you can't tell me what to do and we'll shut this down. Oh, okay. Well, you're going to shut down technology. Got it. Okay. So, bam, they shut down Napster, you know, with all the copyright lawsuits and yada, yada, yada. Then you got LimeWire,
Mm-hmm.
Active. What were some of the other
Was it
services?
Wazoo or something? There was plenty
So
of
many.
them. Yeah.
You are
So many.
playing whack-a-mole at
Yep.
this point, right? Because they're trying to put out all these fires. And instead, again, and I have a course this semester at Berkeley called Music Business Leadership and Ethics. Shout out to my professor, David Purcell.
Hmm.
But that was the first week. We talked about Napster and the importance of it, and why. Well, why, 22 years later, we're still having this conversation,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yes.
that was just like a leadership decision gone awry, shall we say?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because had they, I truly believe in my heart of hearts, had they had that conversation, there would have been some sort of compromise, some sort of ingratiation of file sharing into the modern record business. Maybe we could have made a thing, but no, the record business has always been very arrogant, very it's our
Greedy.
ball, we'll take it and go home kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it cost them. It bit
Yeah.
them in the ass. It was the thing that led to the era of independence and where we are right now.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know,
And I'm so happy that we have gotten to this place where artists can kind of do what artists want to do. And there's a way to get the product to all of us, to experience. I will say, you know, and I think we've talked about this all individually. One of the things I do love is I do feel like we had a handle on the curation of it at one point. Like we knew what was coming and when it was coming. Child, the record's just dropping now. And it's like, but what's dope about it is you can always discover something that's new to you. And you're like, well, that came out a couple of years ago, but it's like, well, it's hot today, 2 years later.
Absolutely. My nephew, Caleb was turning me on with some stuff like, well, this is, he was like, oh, Uncle Kipper, that's old. I was like, phenomenal, you know, and it's great. It's just a new way to consume music. You know, we had our old ways. I mean, I'm a child of the retail age. So I spent, you know, my Fridays were at Tower Records and period. You know me? Yes. Tower on Sunset, because you never know who you would run into as well at Tower on Sunset. I mean, Elton John could be shopping for his music.
Right.
I ran into KG from, you know, from Naughty. I mean, we used to hang out at Tower, and then, you know, just that experience, I feel so sorry. I feel so sorry for the kids who will never know that.
I do as well, and it's so funny. It's so funny that you brought that up, because this Saturday is Record Store Day.
Record Store Day. Oh,
it is Record Store Day, and I think all of us here have our own experiences with music retail. Both J. Ray and I have worked in music retail as well, and I can echo the same sentiment. Is like Super Tuesdays were, I mean, a thing of legend. I remember being excited. It was like Christmas Day. Every Tuesday was Christmas Day. When we
right.
Every time we raised up the gate, because the night before all the placements had the merch, had been set up. The listening stations had been set up with the brand new releases, and it was like,
did you take those posters, Adrian?
Okay, let's go. Only the ones that I wanted.
Right.
Only the ones that I wanted. Now we had a guy, shout out to Mark Long. Mark was a genius at window dressing. As a matter of fact, the labels would ask for him in particular to dress our windows for whatever release was big. They wanted, and if they bought the window, they wanted him to do it. And I'm sure he took home a bunch of different kinds of swag, but I only took stuff that I wanted. You know, if it was available, I would ask for it. Yeah.
I had the big George Clinton stand up from the Dr. Funkenstein album.
Oh wow, yeah.
I had a Graham stand up from the Graham Central Station, the GCS album. I had, and they were so dope. Their manager used to put his phone number on the back of the album.
That's hot.
I mean, so that was forward thinking, because, you know, now we're at this part of the game where, you know, this instant access and fan engagement piece, you know, is a big deal, right? He thought about that thing 40 plus years ago.
A long time ago, And I want to, before we go any further, I want to give a shout out to, I see some people in the chat, like Randy, Calvin, Ladietrich, who I believe is your cousin, Kipper, you know, is all joining us. And I know there's a bunch of people who are watching us right now and who are not in the chat, but I want to say thank you for joining us, because this is a very important conversation that we're having, and we are so lucky to have Kipper Jones here, because I like how J. Ray put it in the description of the show. It's like Kipper Jones is the link.
Yeah.
You know, like what they say in Transformers, the all spark.
Right.
You know, he's that link that, you know, to I don't want to make him sound like a dinosaur, but the link to an era, you know, but a lot of those principles and, you know, tactics are still viable today when it comes to this, to music. And I just know that a lot of artists can benefit from talking to you. What is, and before we get into, you know, the rest of our topics, what are some of the things that up and coming artists are asking you when they find out who you are? What are they saying? Kipper, please share your knowledge with me on fill in the blank.
I think more than anything, it's always, can you write one of those for me?
Can I get? I want to be down too.
Sure.
That's usually the prevailing question. You know what I mean? That's yeah. I think sometimes you'll get the deeper questions about some performance things. Or I had the awesome opportunity to work with Sonny Emery. I don't know if you guys know who Sonny is, but he's a legendary drummer. Played with everyone from Eric Clapton to Earth, Wind and Fire, Maze, just everyone. Well, he's got this tremendous. He's got two sons, but I work with his youngest son, Nicholas, who is just amazingly talented. And Nicholas is he's the real deal. So he's a student of the game. So he's always asking, like, I don't want to say like some questions aren't pertinent, but like really pertinent stuff, like about like voice placement, like about harmony structures, like like really deep questions that just really go outside the basic how can I get a deal stuff. I mean, and I do still get that question.
Interesting.
How can I get a deal? How do I get signed? How do I get a deal? And and my answer is always the same. That ain't what you want.
Right. Right. They gonna own everything. You don't.
It's not what you want. And I know you see Cardi B, and I know you see Megan, and I know you see, Chris Brown. I know you see these kids with these major label deals that, that are doing very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
That is like Jason Tatum, for all my basketball fans out there.
Mm-hmm.
That young man is exceptionally gifted. Okay, he is exceptionally gifted on the basketball court. There are many thousands of exceptionally gifted basketball players.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that made it through.
Right.
All those other thousands and thousands of ones, they didn't make it through. It doesn't mean they're not great.
Right.
Right? It doesn't mean they're any less talented or any less gifted. They just didn't make it through. So that process of making it through, if you're planning on a career in this business, entails a whole lot. I mean, and most of it is the work behind the scenes, not the stuff that you see.
Right.
When you see the pretty video with the scanty clothes and the dope beats and all that kind of stuff, that's the final product of a whole lot of work and a whole lot of blood, sweat, and tears and cussing and fussing. And there's a whole lot that goes into that. And it's hard to tell people that when you see this beautiful result and you just think you just run in and ta-da. Well, no, there's a whole lot that goes into it. So when you're at a major record company who's doing all that work for you, trust me, the remuneration, what do you call that? The payback?
The recouping. Recoup. Let's recoup in their movie.
So here's the equation. If you have a major label deal and you sell 50,000 records, chances are you're going to get dropped. You're not going to make another record because 50,000 records is not going to recoup the money that they've spent for you to get this record that just sold 50,000 copies. Now, as an independent artist, however, if you sell 50,000 records at $10 a wop, that's $500,000, first of all. Now, you got a whole lot of people to pay. I'm sure you got your publicist to pay, your attorney, all of that kind of stuff. But if you walk away with $100,000,
you still won.
That is what you won. Yeah. You walk away with $100,000. I mean, probably $200,000 more
right.
than you would have had at a major record label because you're still in the hole at a major record label because all of that money that they spend, they got you limos to go to the hotel and went to the Soul Train Awards and you all the yada 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 yada. You pay for all of that,
Right.
right? So you're not gonna, you ain't gonna see no money. And that's just kind of how it works. So this independent era is so attractive to me because it's all about something that my grandfather instilled in me and us. It's about hard work. It's just about hard work. Do the work. You'll see the rewards, but you just got to do the work. Some of us, I think, are just, again, whereas we see the result and we don't really realize that there's a lot of work that goes into that. And you just got to be willing to do it. With your powerful product. Now, if your product ain't powerful, then your hard work ain't gonna matter. So that's the other part. Listen, be objective. If somebody tells you your song sucks, take your song and figure out why they thought it sucked. Figure it out. Don't get mad.
Right.
Don't get mad and be like, they don't know what they talking about. No, they don't like it. And you probably need to find out why.
On that, real quick, J-Ray, I know you got something for Kipper, but real quick to that point, tell everybody about workshopping songs, because that was a thing, to workshop a song. What did that look like? Because I'm not certain. I don't believe that happens anymore, but let the audience know what it meant to workshop a song.
What's interesting is actually it don't have to happen now, because usually most of these songs that you have on the radio got 15 writers.
Right. That's true.
If that ain't enough objectivity for you, I don't know what to tell you. So, but okay. So, and I think what you're speaking of is actually like they used to have like a round table where you could actually sit and listen to a record, take the opinions in, figure out, and knock the corners off the block, and make it better, make it the best it could be. Well, Barry Gordy had a system of quality. He called it quality control, and it was the sandwich game, right? So it was either they play a song with a room full of people, producers, artists, writers, everybody, and they go, "Wow, okay, so that song or a sandwich." And it was just in simples. It could be like sandwich next.
Wow.
Yeah, and even with that, he would take a song that everybody was like, "Oh, wow, that's really great. Yeah, no, that song passes the muster." But it would be a song like "Heard It Through the Grapevine." So he would take that song, and sure, Norman Whitfield would produce it on Marvin Gaye. Then he'd be like, let me do this on Gladys Knight too, and see which one kind of works better. There is a, and they were both great, right? They're both classics.
Right.
What there is, and to your audience may want to check this out, there is a version, of course, Michael Jackson's debut in the big world was "I Want You Back," right? There is a version of David Ruffin singing "I Want You Back" that is merciless. It's a grown man, baby. I love that song. It's like, it's so real good.
It gives it a new element. It gave it a completely different element. Yeah, a grown man element.
From a grown man's vantage point, that joker is the deal. But it's again, it's just a way to get the best out of a song, and get the best out of it and get it to the best audience, the right audience for it. You never know. Like with "Heard It Through the Grapevine," that was two separate records, two totally different records. They're not even, it ain't even the same. You know what I mean? One is real slow and moody, and the other one's all kind of dancey, So, but it's the same song. It's just a way to do it. So to your point, workshopping it or just getting the feedback, that objectivity, that always works. I think people, we live in such a touchy age right now. Don't nobody want to hear your shit don't work.
You can cuss.
Okay.
You Kipper Jones.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear, it's not perfect, or it could be better, or any of those kinds of things. And that's what makes things better, right? It's objectivity or, some kind of feedback,
Yeah.
And don't let people just I mean, people will tell you honestly, listen, I thought it was okay. And you be like, oh, well, you don't, yeah, don't do that. Take it. Maya Angelou says, don't pick it up and don't put it down. When somebody says something to you that is horrible, you're a bad person, Johnny Cornegay. Go,
What? Well,
you've been like, ain't that wrong with me? I'm good. No. Don't put that down.
right.
Don't put that down. There's a reason why someone would say that to you, right? Figure it out. And by the same token, oh, Johnny, you're just everything. You're just the Catholic pajamas. You're just someone that don't pick that up. You better.
And I would just, I want to know about it.
Like, okay, all right.
Like,
Thanks. Right.
You have to take it all and process it, you know?
I pulled this quote. We are going to go longer than we normally go tonight. I think I just want to let the folks know that because we got a lot to talk about. So Janelle Monáe is on the Red Table Talk today or yesterday or today. But anyway, there was this quote. Literally, it's within like the first 10 minutes. And I pulled this because I was like, oh my God, this reminds me of Kipper and all the work that I know that you're doing. But the quote is, they said that someone said, or they heard the quote, if you don't work out the things you need to work out first before you share it with the world, you'll be working it out with the world.
Yeah.
And so for the audience, so one of the things that, you know, has been in the works, and I know that, you know, Kipper has been working diligently on, you know, you're writing your story, you are settling into your story and telling your story. So coming into 21, we had all these things, right? That was like, okay, here's what we're doing. We're going to be doing some conversations and all of that. I want to just give you a minute to reflect on coming out of 2021 and kind of the things that were on your mind that you wanted to be, that you want to talk about with folks generally. And then there's other stuff, of course, that we have to talk about for this year, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like there's your plan and then there's God's plan.
Right.
And what is the old adage, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
Yeah. That's it. That's it.
So 2021 was, you know, I mean, everybody's had the same set of issues. I mean, everybody's life is different, of course, but I mean, you know, we've all had COVID-induced situations to have to deal with, right? 2020 and 2021. So 2020 for me was apocalyptic in that it wasn't just COVID, it was a divorce. And, you know, usually you kind of, I don't know, hell, I've never been married before. So it was my first time. I mean, I have been of the mind that sometimes you see things coming. And so when you get kind of blindsided and for something as eventual as a marriage, it's tough. It's really, it's tough to deal with. One of the first things I did was get a therapist, enlist a therapist. I guess I do have on my shirt.
I pray, I talk, I see a therapist.
But one of the more important things I probably could have ever done. Depression is real. We find ourselves doing things that we just think are just maybe idiosyncratic little characteristics. But without that objectivity, once again, that word comes up a lot in my conversation these days, but without that bounce back, you don't know that what you're doing is actually fostering the environment for depression. You just think I'm just being lazy and I don't feel like getting up till 11 o'clock today. So I'm going to pull the covers up back over my head again and go back to sleep. And then next thing you know, you did that like 3 days in a row. And you're fighting, or you're inviting, should I say, this depression element into your life. And I was doing that. And I got probably a good month into it. And I just said, this is not me. This is not working for me. This is not me. You know I got socked, I got a gut punch, but I can do better than this. And I accessed a situation that I was able to enlist a therapist whom I've been seeing and talking to well over a year now. And that has just done wonders for me. I'm able to I'm able to function now and not just have to run out of the room every time somebody says the word marriage or divorce. So anything like that, just used to just do me in. But now you have to talk things through. You have to talk them out, and sometimes you have to hear yourself say things. Just to get on the other side of them. And these are just some of the tools and some of the things that I've learned, being in therapy, and it's been wonderful for me. And I suggest everyone do it. And another reason why I think that we're here tonight and having this conversation is because I'm sharing some things about myself with everyone, because I don't think that there's no shame. We've allowed people to stigmatize things like mental health and even your own personal health and those kinds of things. And so I'm kind of here to break the vase. I'm not doing that anymore. So
I was gonna say it's you had talked briefly about coaching someone regarding performance, and being physical is still a thing that you do, because you still perform. And I know that J Ray and I, the past year we've reported, it seemed like every day we were reporting on somebody either succumbing or dealing with major health issues that was music related. And so with that, how important was your physical health? Like, where I'm sure your physical health came to the front of the stage, as it were, in these past couple of years. All of that intertwining, what was that like for you, and what kinds of things did you experience over the same amount of time that prompted you to come and say, you know what, let's just talk about this. Let's just put it out on the table.
Sure. So at the same time, like I said, I enlisted a therapist. My stepfather, I don't know if he's watching right now, God bless his love. He said he said to me, Kip, living well is the best revenge.
Amen.
Now, mind you, I was not seeking revenge. I'm not the vengeful one. I don't get into that. I think, what God has for me is for me. And what God has for somebody else is for them. So in terms of living well, and I thought about it, and I was like, well, you know what? I'm looking like a big round bound of rebound right now. And so I need to fix that. So not only did I get a therapist, but I got a physical trainer. Shout out to Fitzroy Smith, wherever you are out there in the world. Fit 360 ATL. And a voice coach. I started working with Brandon, and I started working on me. And when you say the physical part, all of that was the physical and mental part, of course. But yeah, that was very, very important for me. And I was riding right into 60. I just turned 60 in January. So it was important to me that I look, feel, act my absolute best. I just wanted to be my best all the way around, right? You are looking at and this is, for everybody that tuned in, I know you're just like, well, you talked about that all the time. Well, um, you're looking at a guy who is 60 years old, who has probably lived like 150,000 years. I am that dinosaur you spoke of. So, but what a lot of people don't know is when where do I even put this? I moved to Atlanta in 2006. So I've been here, 15, almost 16 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I came here and I just tried to make my way. I didn't want to come here telling anybody, oh, I'm Kipper Jones and I wrote this song and I did that and I did that. No, I came here and I went to a little club called Cafe 290 over here in Sandy Springs. And there's a woman named Carol Ozamoya. And Carol may be watching right now too. She goes by the name of Carol O. But she used to have a little talent show thing called Who's Got That Vibe every Wednesday night. And so I found out about it and I went and I signed up and I was going to perform at this talent show and I did. And I didn't win. I didn't win. You have to pay your money. So I paid my money and I came back the next week and I did it again. And this particular week, though, there was a guy there who was a DJ. I forget his name for, I don't know, maybe 104, one of the stations here. And he was like, hey, wait a minute.
It's always one of us.
Wait a minute. I know who you are. And I was like, hey, man, listen, I'm not here for that. Mm-hmm. I'm just here like everybody else. And I just want to do this like everybody else. And so, I did. And people started talking, of course. And then, this one knows. And they say, man, you can't be doing this. And I'm like, well, I'm just trying to make my way like everyone else. And then the next thing I knew, William Green, who's a phenomenal keyboardist, band leader here in town, needed a singer for a gig, Thanksgiving weekend 2011. My guy brother Fred Sawyer told William, you need to call Kipper. He's like, well, does he know songs? Call Kipper. So he called me, and William and I were a team for the next 4 years at Cafe 290 every Friday night.
3 sets, y'all.
3 sets a night for every week. So what people don't know is every night after we got done, I would go home and pop a half a bottle of ibuprofen because I had a condition in my hips that was called avascular necrosis, which for you medical professionals, necrosis means dead. Avascular veins, your veins to your ball joints in your hips are dying and dead. And my ball joints and my hips were collapsing. And if you saw me back in those days, I used to limp real bad. And I was walking just horribly, right? But I get on stage, nothing. I'm dancing around like Sammy Davis Jr., and then get off stage and be in excruciating pain and have to go do this thing. Well, you can't keep taking ibuprofen. It will kill your liver and your kidneys. And you can't keep doing that. Well, the doctors had told me long ago that I was going to have hip replacement surgery. And this stems from, I had pneumocystis pneumonia in 1996. And they gave me prednisone, which they give respiratory patients, asthmatics, people with some acute respiratory issues. They give you prednisone, but it's a steroid that can have this side effect of this avascular necrosis thing. They always read the late, and it could cause this and eventually death, and it could, whatever. But I didn't die, but my ball joints and my hips did. So, and the pneumonia. I'm going to trace it all back. So, the ball joints in my hips were dying because they gave me prednisone, because I had pneumocystis pneumonia. Because in 1996, I was diagnosed with full-blown AIDS. I was not HIV positive, but anybody who saw the movie Straight Outta Compton, you saw the scene where the doctor comes into the office and he tells Eric, I don't know what you know about HIV and AIDS. And Eric goes, I ain't no faggot. And he goes into this whole thing or whatever. And that's how he found out he had AIDS and he was dying. Well, Eric was my friend, so it's kind of hard to talk about that. But he, that same doctor, Dr. Wayne Huizenga, said that very same thing to me in that very same hospital the very next year. And the only difference in Eric and me is God said not so. Not you and not now. I had people in my life like Terry McFadden, who came and prayed for me every day for 14 days. I had a praying mother who prays for me right now. I had a praying church family. I have people who absolutely said, don't let him die. People like Vanessa Williams, people like, that really cared for me and held on to me, that would not let me go. But all my friends were going around me, but I wasn't allowed to go. I had an assignment that I am here to complete, and I'm going to see it through to its fruition. So I'm here with new hips. I got, like I said, I would do that Cafe 290 gig, man, and it was killing me. William and I kind of went our separate ways. I started my own band, Kipper Jones R&B Circus. We were still doing the Cafe 290 gig until the pain got to be too much. It just got to be too much. And I went to my doctor and, sought out help, who turned me on to the Emory Orthopedic and Spine Clinic. Shout out to Emory Ortho. And Dr. George Guile is a young cat, man. And he was like, man, I do these operations like pulling a tooth. This is nothing.
You're like, okay.
So, sure.
I mean, and I tell you, man, I was so anxious. Come on, man. This is new. This is a new part of your body. I've been so apprehensive about this thing for over almost 20 years at that point, right? So it was really, really, really intimidating. And he made it just like, don't even worry, we got you. And so I did my right one in December 2016, and then the left one in April 2018. And I've been better than ever. I mean, I was married during that time, so I had a lot of help, which was really cool. My church family was there for me. Shout out to Victory for the World Church. My folks were there for me, and I mean, just amazingly so. Angela Dean and Valerie. I could just name all these people that were just there for me. And I'm so grateful for what they do for me. And they don't even know this story,
right?
But I'm sharing it with people because somebody needs to hear it. This isn't for me. I hope people don't get the wrong impression that I'm like trying to make people feel sorry for me or anything like that. None of that. This is not about me. Okay. This is because somebody else needs to hear this. Now I got to the point where I have my hips done, all of that, then my marriage falls apart. Right? And so then I don't have that support system anymore. So then, like I said, I'm falling into this depression thing. and all of that kind of stuff. So I got help for that. I get my trainer. I'm back on the scene. I'm doing my thing, right? And all of that kind of stuff. And my dad, who was just this awesome, ridiculously awesome human being, who was just a regular dude. Don't get me wrong. He was just a regular dude, but he was just an awesome regular dude. And he was attacked by like all these cancers. He had colon cancer, and they removed part of his colon, and then it showed up in his kidney, and they removed a kidney, and they lived with one kidney for like 20 years or so. And then they showed up in his bladder, and they did bladder treatment and got rid of it again. And every time they would get rid of it, it would show up again in another place. And so finally it went to his esophagus. And so he said to his oncologist, what is this? Why is this happening? And so his oncologist suggested that he do this genetic testing to find out why he was being attacked like this by these cancers. Now, mind you, my grandfather also died of colorectal cancer. My uncle passed from colorectal cancer. My grandmother had ovarian cancer. There's a very heavy history of cancer on my dad's side. And so he went on and did the test, and he found out that he has what's called Lynch syndrome. And it is a defective gene. I don't want to call it by the wrong name, but I think it's the MH2 gene that allows for all of these cancers to happen. And it doesn't matter. It's not metastasizing, or spreading or anything like that. They just literally will reappear in certain people. And that's the way it is. This particular Lynch syndrome, this particular disorder is usually found in Europeans and Native Americans. We have both in my bloodline, right? Mm-hmm. So my dad stayed on me. Hey, Kipper, I want you to take this test, have the test done, and all this stuff. I never did the test, but I was doing frequent colonoscopies. I did colonoscopy every other year from the time that I turned 50, which would have been in 2012. And so I've had up to that point, 5 colonoscopies, right? And so my dad passed in 2014 from the esophageal cancer. And so I finally had the test done in 2020 and found out that I am positive for Lynch syndrome. So I said, okay, well, that's cool, because that means I've already been doing the frequent checks and all of that kind of stuff, right? Well, I didn't pay attention. I don't know. I'm sure they did the PSA. They've been doing, what do y'all call it? The swipe?
Right.
If you're over 40, you know what this means. Yeah. Okay.
If you're over 40, you need to know about the swipe. Say what you will, man, but your prostate exam is crucial for us. And we've got to pay attention. That's another reason why. So I had my prostate exam about a month ago. She did the swipe, nothing. But my PSA blood work came back elevated, extremely elevated. Your PSA level is supposed to be 4 or under. 4 being the highest level, and then 4 or under that. My PSA level was 20. My urologist suggested that we test again in a couple of weeks, but she wanted to make sure that we also booked an MRI exam and a biopsy in case my numbers were still elevated after this second test. You want to book the appointment ahead of time, because it's hard to get these exams and that kind of thing sometimes. So we took the second exam 2 weeks later, and the number was now 21. So the number was going higher. So we did the MRI exam 2 Mondays ago. And they called me into the office and told me that they found 2 lesions on my prostate gland that, they give you the diameters and all of that. And one of them is 0.09 centimeters, something like that. Very, very small. Very, very small. But there is a rating system that they use, 1 through 4, PIRAD, P-I-R-A-D, the system that they use. And it's a 1 through 5, 1 being the less involved, I don't know what that word is, or the 5, it being the most. And mine, 1 was a 4 and the other one is a 3. They, you know, I'm saying it this way because I understand that words have power. You can say things and speak things into existence. You can also say things and send things away. And I am going to say it this way. My prostate has cancer. I don't. My prostate does. I have to deal with my prostate though. So, in dealing with that, we had a biopsy on Monday, this past Monday, and we'll be finding out what the extent is and what the treatment plan will be. And that's what I'm here to share with you guys, because I want everybody to know. My father was the bravest man I've ever known in my life. He fought that thing tooth and nail, and he knew that this was going to happen for me or with me. And so he made sure that I had tools to deal with this. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm doing. I have a wonderful family. I have great friends. I have these awesome tribes that I belong to. My CNP tribe, my BBP tribe. I just, I can't say enough about just the people that God has surrounded me with. I have some things that I was working on to do, like this coming weekend. There's an event called Vote in Style. I came up with a voter registration education drive for women, because women run this thing when it comes to voting, right?
Right.
My dear friend Pearl Fiame is heading up the operation for me, and it's going to be at Atlanta's Chicken Cone on Memorial Drive this Saturday. But my dear friend Rodney Henson owns that place, and I went over there and I was talking up this, I'm going to have this event, I'm going to do all this, yada yada yada, and pow! I got hit with this news, and I'm like, I can't do any of that. But I called my friends, I called Rodney, I called Brian Smith, and I called Pearl, and they were like, Kipper, we got you, and it's amazing. It's amazing. This community of creatives here in this town. I love this town so much. I love Atlanta so much. The people here are amazing. Trey Gilbert, Mike Burton, and Melvin Jones, and those guys, and Rodney Edge and the Bettys. I can't say enough about them. They are my heart. So I don't want to be all weepy, but I
was going to say this. Can we do this?
Yes.
I want to take some space. I want you to take some space to breathe, because you have freed a lot of people just now. You have freed a lot of people just now. And I actually want to ask J. Ray, because you work alongside Kipper, you've been working alongside with him for years. As a business partner and a friend, what have you learned from Kipper? Because just watching him in action, I'm sure you gleaned a lot from this situation, and I'm sure he's taught you a lot by example.
Kipper's I'm always learning a lot from Kipper. So I want to say that. And what I want to say to Kipper is, brother, you have been walking this journey for so long, and I know how much you have been wanting to tell your story. And I just want to say we wanted to hold space for you and give you a place where it's a place where you can land what you want to say in this moment, so that you can now go and do all the other things that you have planned to do, because none of that stops. And so I am okay. So, okay, full transparency. For me, I'm always like, are we doing the right thing? Are we taking care of Kipper right now? Like, so this is going through my head the entire time. Like every time I'm like, ooh, okay, yes. But then Kipper, what was so amazing in hearing, and I know these stories, right? But every time you kept going, because you had to keep going, right? Because I saw it, right? I was like, oh, you got to get this out. It was like, ooh, what DJ Sir Daniel said is like, people will listen to your story and be like, oh my goodness, I needed to hear somebody say this, and know that it's okay. Because you used a word before you began to tell your story. You started talking about stigma. And when we're talking about HIV, stigma is a very real thing today.
Yes.
And the way we reduce that stigma is to talk about it.
Yes.
That
is my very reason for doing this. I know what that stigma is like. I heard the voices. People think you don't hear because they're not talking to you, but they're talking about you. And so you hear it. And even if you don't hear it, you feel it, you know it, it's in the atmosphere. Words have reactions from people. People treat you differently and all those kinds of things. So I've had to deal with all of that, and I know, just like you just said, that the only way to shut down the noise is to stand up in the face of the monster and go, I hear you, and I control me. I control me, not you. Not you, not what you're saying, not your words, not anything you do. I control me. God got me, okay? And I control me, not you. So I am taking control of my narrative, because it's my life that I have to live out. Nobody gets to live this one out for me but me. You know what I mean? And I know that's hard for people. I know it. I've had people say, well, yeah, but you're brave and you're strong. No, I'm stupid. I'm just so stupid faithful that it doesn't matter. I have crazy faith. I believe God when God says that he will never leave nor forsake you. I believe that. And so my faith is just dumb. I can't, I don't know what else to say. I just believe the promises of God. I also believe that God loves me. And so I had to, Johnny, because you know my whole story, but, I had to get to a point where I had to shut out the voices from the church, because the church would have me dead. The church will kill you if you're not careful. You have to find a place where God can speak to you personally. That's your relationship with God, not your relationship with the church. The hell with the church. I must say that. The church will kill you. Be very, very careful. There are wonderful churches, don't get me wrong. The Victory for the World Church, like Impact Church here, the Vision Church, there are great churches. around that are doing wonderful things for people. But the church that I grew up in, and that kind of doctrine, that is killing people. You know, and so we have to be very careful with our words and what we do and how we treat people and all those things, because that's what Jesus said, right? Is to love the Lord God with all your heart, mind, and soul. And then the second commandment, which is like unto the first, to treat your brother, love your brother as yourself. And you can't love anybody until you can love yourself.
That's it.
I'm
That's a
taking
big fact.
control. Yeah, I'm taking control today, period.
When we talk about control, this has been, and we've talked about this in preparation for this show. Healthcare is a major factor for everybody right now.
Sure.
Okay. And because we are Q Points, because we talk a lot about music, because we talk a lot about how the same industry that you described earlier is a monster and only cares about sustaining itself. It really doesn't care about the moving cogs that actually keep it moving and keep the talented ones, the creative ones that keep this that monster fed. A lot of people, us on this panel, we discuss us all going in for our exams, our prostate, our colonoscopies, and that's only because we have some type of healthcare coverage.
Yep.
But Kipper, now you're in the zone of freeing people. There are musicians, creatives who don't necessarily have a 9 to 5 that can pay for healthcare. Talk to, I guess, keeping that a priority when you don't necessarily have, or encouraging them when you don't necessarily have, an agency or a job behind you to pay for healthcare or to substantiate your healthcare. But talk to them about that experience, and if there are tools or if there are resources for the creatives to stay healthy, because we need you to stay healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. So those of us who do have medical insurance, and you be surprised, man. I've been having this conversation. You would be surprised how many of us do have medical insurance and don't access it, and don't even use the resources to do these checkups, to do these exams, to stay on top of this stuff. So first of all, let me just start there. If you have medical insurance that allows you, if you have medical insurance, first of all, I don't know any insurance that isn't going to do an annual screening layout. They're going to give you, some sort of annual plan. I mean, even if you got dental insurance, they give you 2 cleanings a year. So they'll give you, certain exams and that kind of thing. Johnny and I were talking, and I know you've been part of this conversation too, Adrian, about putting together some sort of consortium resource hub, as it were, that people can go to and say, okay, I need to have the prostate exam. Right. I don't know where to go. Let me go to this app, or let me go to this, but let me go. I know Johnny and them had a thing. Let me go there and find it out. So I tell you what, I do know that there are several agencies throughout the year that do men's health screenings for free. I will do the work. I have not to this point, but I will definitely do the work and make sure that we come up with a list of, at least in this area, where men can go and have these checks done. And it's real simple. It's really simple. It don't take 10 minutes, right, to do the prostate exam with the blood test too. I mean, and that's the thing. You want to do the digital exam, because that's how they find out if your prostate is swollen or not. And if it is swollen, then we know we have an issue. that we have to deal with. But the PSA number, which is the blood test, they just take a vial of blood, it's no big deal. And then they run it through their process and will let you know what's going on. Knowledge is power. I don't know how many ways we can say that, but the more you know, and I know some people say, I don't want to know. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
You really do want to know. And I will tell you this, my dad always wanted to know. He stayed in the want to know. But I had another relative who didn't want to know. I don't want to know. Don't tell. I'm not going to the doctor. I don't want to know. And so then by the time anything happened, it was too late. I mean, it was so advanced that there was nothing you can really do. But my dad, because he was working at it, we could deal with it. We could do a treatment. We could do, whatever it was to go to the next part and keep going. But yeah, no, you want to know, because everything is not a death sentence, y'all. That story I told you about Eric and me and him being in the same hospital, that was 1996. And I'm
sorry, for those of you who don't know, Eric is Eazy-E.
Yes.
Is he referring to Eazy-E?
And you're sitting here in 2022.
I'm sitting healthier than hell. I'm healthy as a horse. I'm better now than I've ever been.
Yes.
I don't lift no more. I don't, I'm great up in this piece. I'm really good. But I just know that that's because I've had to confront stuff. I was not going to confront my HIV status or whatever that was. I wasn't going to deal with that. I was going to die. I was ready to die because of stigma, because there was no way in the world I was going to say anything to my mother about my sexuality or my family or my church no, I was just going to die. That's stupid. That is not smart. At that point though, let me say this though, in 1996, there were drug therapies. You were going to die. That was just it, except for when they wheeled me in the hospital, and I will never forget. There was a guy. His name was Peter Anderson. He was a nurse, and he looked like the motorcycle cop in The Village People. He had the mustache a little bit. But I just remember when they wheeled me in, and it was like he spoke over me, and he said, "Do not let him die." That was an ongoing mantra. I mean, like I said, Terry McFadden, who was a dear friend of our family, Teresa McFadden, Teresa Ordell's mother, called my mother, and she said, Phyllis, God told me to come pray for Kipper for 7 days. Came, went on her face before the Lord for 7 straight days at my mother's house. And after the end of that 7 days, she came and she said, God said 7 more. And she did it again for 7 more days, every day. Every day. And after that, I went back in the hospital. I kind of had like a relapse or something. I don't know. I went back in the hospital. But when I got out, I will never forget. I wasn't eating. They gave me this stuff called Megace. It's a appetite inducer. And this stuff will make you chew the paint off the walls. I mean, it will get you hungry. Get you hungry. And all I remember was just coming out of it and going, Teresa, whoa, I need a burrito. And we went to Baja Fresh. I think I ate like 2 burritos like back to back. And she was like, okay, I think he's okay now. I mean, and I don't want to take up too much time because we could be here all night. But I tell you, man, I've come through, the early drug therapies that were just intolerable, horrible, and all of that kind of stuff. And it's been an incredibly arduous but beautiful journey. And the beauty is that I'm still here, and I get to tell everybody. And that's why I'm so very serious and adamant about getting your checkups, man. Get your checkups, bro. It's 10 minutes that's going to give you, 10, 20 more years. Please. It's so serious. And especially Black men. We have to get over this this thing about now here's the thing, medical professionals as opposed to the pharmaceutical industry. I know people say, oh no, the pharmaceutical industry just trying to make money off of me, yada, yada, yada. True enough, granted, I'll give it to you. Big Pharma is a problem in this country. Medical professionals are not trying to get your money. They're trying to help you. They're trying to help you. They don't work for Big Pharma. Some of them are on the tape. You know what's up. But you know, when you go to a doctor, they're trying to do right by you. Make sure you go. Do your tricks, man. I'm telling you, it will add time to your life. You want to spend more time with your children. You want to spend more time with the people around you, to the people that you love. Do your checks and make sure that you can spend as much time with them as possible. I'm going to try to find out that information, man, because I want everybody to be able to go. I know everybody doesn't have medical insurance. We live in Georgia. It's a right to work state. We don't do stuff through the union. And I'm not a big union fan anyway, because when I was in the union in California and was dying, I went to them and they told me I didn't have enough money to come through to you, so we can't help you. So, you know, I'm cool on that too.
Right.
But there are resources, and I want to make sure that anybody that has heard this or sees this can come back and find resources in the chat or in the tagline or somewhere.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description.
We'll be able to give you, you know, resources to go and get those screenings done, because they do them all the time.
Yeah. All the time.
And real quick too, I want to make a note, and I think this is a policy issue as well, and I know that there are folks that are working on this, in particular policies around artists and creatives, around ensuring that it is possible for folks to be able to get the health care, the life insurance, all of those pieces, that if you're not working a traditional job, that you still have access to be able to get some of those things. And it's not something that, because, you know, the challenge for folks sometimes become, you don't know what you don't know. So it's like, okay, how do we make it like an easy thing? If you are uploading a song to SoundCloud, oh, do you know that there is if you're working in the industry, you can get access potentially to whatever. How do we make those kind of policy priorities so that people know what's available to them, but also making sure that it is available to them? So I think there's some stuff here.
Yeah, absolutely. That NARIS does, the Recording Academy is doing a much better job these days. Shout out to Harvey Mason Jr. I think you're doing a great job reaching out in mental health capacities. They have now they did do this before Harvey came, but what I do love is they have a mobile dental truck that travels around for people who are, I think they give you a minimum kind of a list of stuff that you have to have done in the business so that you can access it. But I mean, you know, all those kinds of things. But yeah, I just wish that to your point, there is a conversation to be had here for policy, for I don't know whether it's even an organization that lobbies specifically for creatives. I know, you know, I do a lot of lobby work for, you know, the music industry, for the LGBTQ community, but we don't ever really do anything specific like that. And I think that would be really, really, really big and important as well, because we live in a state that also doesn't have Medicaid expansion.
Right.
So a lot of people don't have health care coverage here because they fall in the gap. They don't make enough money to pay for the premiums in Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, and they make too much money to qualify for Medicaid. So they fall in the gap. There's more than 500,000 people here in the state of Georgia who fall in that gap. And because we have this lunatic governor who won't expand Medicaid, you know, and we have a heavily Republican state legislature that refuses to expand Medicaid and is closing down rural hospitals. I mean, they bite off their nose to spite their face, you know. So,
but we can carry guns. We can carry a gun, Kipper. We can open carry.
No ID.
Well, no, you can carry on, So hey,
Yeah,
it's there.
you ain't got to have a permit, nothing. I done went down there and paid these people all this money for this permit. Now I ain't need it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
So,
listen, real
but
quick,
yeah,
Kipper,
so
I want
when we live
to.
in the States, it's a little backwards,
It's a little
but we
backwards.
can figure out things for ourselves. Some of this stuff you don't necessarily need legislative action, even though it would be great. Some of these things we can do for ourselves, and we need to do them.
Yeah.
So real quick, I want to ask you this, Kipper. You have, just in this conversation alone, you've given to us. Okay, you've given to us through your music. You've given to us so much. What do you need from us?
Yes.
What can we do for you? What are the listeners, the viewers, what can we do for you? How can we support you?
Wow. First and foremost, pray for me. The effectual fervent prayer of the righteous availeth much. So pray for me. And I will say this: it would, if I just was hearing stories about, hey, I went to get my checkup, or hey, I got my I had my prostate exam, or hey, I had my colonoscopy. I saw my friend Gerald Hogan the other day had his colonoscopy. Let's share in that, man. Let's start having this conversation. Let's improve our numbers. We have these outrageous numbers when it comes to Black men and prostate health and all of those kinds of. Let's improve our numbers, and the way that we do that is by going to get checked and addressing the situation. I'm telling you, you do want to know. You really do want to know. And we can't keep just doing things the way that we've done, because that's not working. The numbers are increasing. So we can't keep doing that. We got to do something new. How about the new thing be, let's just turn it up, man, and go get checked, do the things that we need to do to make sure that we're okay. And when I say go get checked, and I'm talking about us, and when I say us, I'm talking about Black men, especially. And it doesn't matter your sexuality. Let me get that out of the way. Please don't think that well, I'm gay, I don't have to do it. No.
We all gotta go.
Too. We all gotta go. We all gotta go, and we all gotta have it. And this goes for all your other testing.
Yes.
You're testing for diabetes. You're testing for HIV and sexually transmitted diseases. All of those things, everything that I've mentioned can be treated. James Baldwin, who we revere and adore, says that everything that is faced cannot be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. Right? So that's kind of where we are with this thing, man. Let's face it, we're men. Be men. And it's okay. I used to hate that expression, man up. Well, women can man up too. It don't matter, but just tough up, man, and go get it. It's you've heard about, I don't want nobody sticking their finger up my butt. Listen, they can either do it now or they can do it at the morgue.
That part. See.
Wow.
And if they do it now, maybe the morgue can wait.
Can wait.
Yep.
Kipper.
Johnny, what in the hell have I done?
Kipper.
You freed some people. That's what you've done.
And you have taken control of the narrative and your story. And there's so much more to be done, and that you have planned to do, and we're so grateful. So thank you to Kipper Jones for being here on Q Points. I got to do my Q Points stuff. So I'm going to do my Q Points stuff real quick. So my Q Points stuff is, make sure, everybody, you can visit our website and become a Q Points insider. If you go, the link is in the chat. Also, it's really important. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. Also, you can leave us a review over there. Got two quick notes. Matt Conti said this was so powerful. Kipper, I wanted to make sure that you saw that message. Thank you so much, Matt, for tuning in. And also Randy, who we love. I can't wait to see. I haven't seen Randy in so long. You have blessed us tonight. That's what you've done, Kipper. So Randy answered your question, Kipper. The last thing that you can do is make sure that you subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you're watching us on Facebook, and review us on Podchaser. It really does help to spread the word about the show. So yeah.
Well, I don't think there's much else to be said. Kipper, where can people find you? Where can people follow you? I know you've been blessing the people with chronicling your medical visits and whatnot. Where's the best place that people can tune into all of that and follow your progress?
Well, of course, at the website, which is kipperjones.com. And we're going to be, like, you know that I've been chronicling the whole trip. And so you'll be seeing a lot of that footage. We're going to do some partnering with a couple of organizations. One in particular, Prostaware. So look out for that. I'm excited about that too, because I think it's going to be cool. But you can also follow me on, because if you don't know, my social media is Uncle Kipper everywhere. But at the website, kipperjones.com. If you want to shoot me an email at unclekipper@gmail.com. That's my personal email, or at nowthennothing@gmail, which is our company email as well. But I want to thank you guys for this opportunity, because like Johnny said, I mean, it's a story I've been wanting to tell. It's my story. Everybody has one. And your story is more powerful than you know. Your story can save somebody. This is just my story. There's a whole lot more to it, trust and believe. But this is just my story, and your story can save someone's life as well. And so we have to tell our stories. I think there's a line in Hamilton that says something about that. If you don't tell your stories, if you don't share and tell your stories, that people will never know. And so we have to do that. I'm just being obedient to that spirit. I want to thank you guys so very much for giving me the space to do this. I want to thank my family. I love y'all. I don't know what I would do without my mother, my brother, my sister, my brother, cousin, and my sister cousins, and all the people cousins, and all my wonderful friends and support system. I love y'all. I mean, thank you so very much.
Well, listen, the love is reciprocated and it's very real. J. Ray, thank you for everything.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all for watching and listening. Please share this when this is reposted. Share it with somebody that you love, that you think needs to hear this story. But guys, what do I always say every week? In this life, you have a choice. You can either pick up the needle or you can let the record play. I'm DJ Sir Daniel.
I'm J. Ray. And that is Kipper Jones.
The one and only. And this has been Q Points. Thank you so much. And we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.